Hello everyone. Uh, this is Prashant Yadav, Indian Polity faculty at Prince IS Academy. Dear students, in the last lecture, we have already discussed about the basics. In that lecture, we have discussed about the state and the other part of system related to political science, that is nation. So in today's lecture, moving further in that series, we are going to discuss number one, the concept of nation state, number two, the concept of country, thereafter, what are the requirement of a state in the political structure. So dear students, in today's lecture, the first thing that we are going to discuss is the nation state. The second concept that we are going to discuss will be the country, जिसको हम बेसिकली देश के नाम से हिंदी में जानते हैं. And the third concept that we are going to discuss is what is the basic requirement of a state in political structure. In political structure. Let's brush up the concepts that we have studied in our last lecture. We have studied about the basic definition related to the state. State is a political entity of a composite entity which is abstract in nature. Thereafter, we have studied the basic difference between the nation and the state. The state was more related to the political terminology. It was association of a people having government, territory, population, sovereignty. And here, nation was a group of people with having a common language, cultural, geographical territory usually. Dear student, what I want to specifically focus in this lecture is the concept of the nation or the concept of the state. These are the very common related terminology. But apart from it, from the Eurocentric point of view, there is another term which is more oftenly used in the political science. That term is nation state. If you discuss about this concept historically, firstly, to the Treaty of Westphalia way back in 1648, this concept of the nation state acquired legibility in the Europe. उसके बाद this concept infiltrated to the other parts of the world. Now we will try to understand what this concept mean. देखिए, from the etymological point of view, we can clearly understand this term is made up of two words. One is nation plus state. So automatically this entity will be having the characteristics of the state as well as the characteristics of the nation. But what we have to focus is we can call a political entity as the nation state only when a state is having only one nation. When the state is having only one nation. Here जो आपको समझना है, the important point is कि there could be the possibility जहाँ पे state could have more than one nation. But here the basic requirement is the number of the nation has to be limited to one. Okay, now moving further to the second concept that we have to discuss is country. जिसको आप हिंदी में देश कहते हैं. देखिए, dear viewers, try to understand the concept of country is no more different than the sovereign state. The concept of the country is same as the sovereign state. But if we are talking about a state from the geographical point of view, if we are talking about a state from the geographical point of view, then usually we are in a habit to use the term country in place of state. So आप समझने की कोशिश कीजिए, if we are talking about a geographical entity from the perspective of the physical features and other climatology etc., then we will term it as like a country. If we are talking about it from the political aspect, and it is fulfilling the basic requirement of the international laws, then we call it as a state. And the third concept that we have discussed is nation state. Now, let us sum up what we have studied so far. The number one concept that we have learned in the last lecture was the state. The second concept that we had learned was the nation. And the third one is nation state. And the fourth one that we have learned today is country. हिंदी में मैं आपको साथ लिख देता हूं. दिस वाज अ देश, दिस इज राष्ट्र, एंड दिस इज राज्य. हमने स्टेट में देखा था 4 बेसिक रिक्वायरमेंट. हमने राष्ट्र में देखा था some common feature exist among the association of the people. Thereafter, the nation state is one state plus one nation, and the third is desh from the geography point. So dear viewers, after understanding this concept, now we will have a very short glimpse about understanding the nature of India. Now we will try to analyze India from all these 4 perspectives. Number 1, can we call India as a state? Obviously, I have discussed in my last lecture also all the 4 basic elements which are required as per the international law is fulfilled by the India. So we can conclude logically that India is an state. Now, second, can we call India as a country? Obviously, yes. From the geographical point of view, if we are talking about India from the geographical perspective, we can call it as a country. Now, the third concept, can we call India as a nation? देखिए, this topic, can we call India as a nation, and then can we call India as a nation state, requires to be discussed and analyzed in little more depth. So now our next topic is morely focused on, can we call India as a nation or a nation state? Try to understand, there are 2 basic thought process associated with this common question. The one process and the one thought thinker said कि India, if we are analyzing India from the common feeling of brotherhood, or we can say patriotism, the feeling related to our nationalism, then obviously we can term India as a nation. The second perspective or the second point of view associated with this theme is कि the basic essence or the basic definition associated with the nation is the population must have a common identity, common ethnicity, common culture. But these basic elements are not fulfilled in the case of India. So they can refute to call, and they can refute from saying कि India is a nation. But जहाँ तक हमारा है, we are all aware, we are having a national anthem also, we are having a national song also, we are having the nationality also. So basically, this is the most adaptable and the most appropriate thought process associated with the definition of India, whether India is a nation or not. Now moving further, इस discussion से एक चीज तो हमें clear है कि the concept of nation is little bit debatable. Apart from it, the same the process will be followed in the case of nation state. 2 approaches are there in the nation state case also. One approach says that India is a very diverse country in terms of culture, ethnicity, language. So it is not proper to call that India is having just one single nation. So we can conclude from this opinion that India is a state, one state, but many nations. And the second point is, no, India is a just one state plus one nation. तो यहां पर इस वाले केस में जो हम वन नेशन वाला कंसेप्ट कह रहे हैं, यहां पे आपको समझना पड़ेगा द कॉमन एलिमेंट ऑफ आइडेंटिटी इज द फीलिंग ऑफ नेशनलिज्म दैट वी हैव एक्वायर्ड थ्रू आवर मास स्ट्रगल ऑफ इंडिपेंडेंस. So I think now we have clear understanding whether India is a nation state or not. Now concluding this part, so what could be the best way to articulate the political structure and the nature of India? As so far I have read some words of a national security advisor, Mr. Ajit Doval sir. He said, if the best way to interpret the India is to call it as the civilizational state, as the civilizational state. The right-wing ideology related to the Akhand Bharat is something which is having root in this political ideology associated with the India. So we are having a common civilization starting way back from the prehistoric time to the ancient time of जहां पर हम हड़प्पा सिविलाइजेशन या इंडस वैली सिविलाइजेशन के बारे में पढ़ते हैं. So the best concluding part is we can clearly conclude or we can easily say कि India is a nature of civilizational state. So dear viewers, in the next lecture we will try to analyze we can say what are the basic elements, what are the basic factors that are associated in the requirement of the state. Is there any possibility of a stateless society, या राज्य विहीन समाज में हम रह सकते हैं या नहीं? Thank you.